Let's talk about how you should listen to Distractable and there is no ulterior motive.
I will start an OnlyFans if you meet my conditions. Number 1, you listen to Distractable.
I know Mark already confirmed that he will start his tasteful, adult-oriented content, but legitimately, I do think there is an interesting conversation to be had how Mark is dominating the podcast field and how it's pissing off traditional media and breaking boundaries for all YouTubers. Mark in his most recent livestream and a few episodes of Distractable and Go, My Favorite Sports Team, revealed that a lot of traditional podcasters doubted their potential success. Listen to how both the podcast and Mark were treated when brought up to a traditional podcaster.
I mean, and again, I'm not going to name names, but I remember early on in Distractable, my manager, Ben, he was sending out emails to be like, okay, let's see if you can get on other podcasts to promote Distractable. Like, that'd be, it's a natural fit. And there was someone who Ben reached out to who responded, basically, and said, Markiplier? That YouTuber? Pfft, yeah, right. And literally that was the response that he typed in the email.
I've listened to a lot of different podcasts and I genuinely mean it when I say Distractable is my favorite. Like many people, I initially started listening because it had Markiplier, but the interactions between him, Bob, and Wade are so funny. And so are the interactions with Tyler and Go, My Favorite Sports Team.
See? Oh, but Dad, you make me do all your taxes. I mow the lawn.
Change.
I sleep with Mom.
Change.
Distractable is a lot like Whose Line Is It Anyways, but in a podcast form, where it's comedy-based and the structure is loose. And it's because of the podcast that I now love Mark, Bob, and Wade content. Because before the podcast, I actually used to avoid the videos where they played together.
Everyone shut up. I'm thinking.
But for some reason, these old businessmen that probably don't even know how to use the UI for YouTube treat YouTube as a joke. For some reason, podcasts are seen as strictly intellectual content. But can I just say, some of them are unbearably boring. They're barren of life, they have no fun. And who wants to hear someone mansplaining something for an hour plus? Now, I understand some people enjoy that stuff, but I'm not discrediting it as enjoyable content. But a podcast is nothing more than a recorded audio conversation that's posted to a public platform. I could literally have a conversation with someone about my feet for an hour, and that is by definition a podcast. Would it do numbers? Probably. The internet's weird. And what I find ironic is these big TV shows and movies that treat YouTube like a joke come over to the platform and then post their stuff. It's arguably a more annoying version of the Vine invasion. So it's obvious that these old Hollywood types see the potential in YouTube but are threatened by it. And let's be honest, these YouTubers who are getting just as many views as traditional media are doing it with infinitely less resources. Since we're talking about Markiplier, let's take his channel compared to a talk show host I absolutely despise, James Corden. Glancing over his channel, I barely see anything hitting 80k. Jimmy Fallon, similar thing. Sometimes getting a bit over 100k with an occasional 1 million views. The Ellen Show barely gets 20k views anymore. And I remember a time where the Ellen Show was all anyone would talk about. And let's be honest, that cancellation of hers did not do much, so you can't blame it on that. Markiplier, on the other hand, 2 million plus views on average. Him getting between 1 to 2 million views is pretty low for him. And every channel I mentioned is around the 30 million subscriber mark. And what's truly embarrassing that despite the hundreds of thousands of dollars that go into the production of these talk shows, make less than what one guy and a few editors can do. And like these talk show hosts love to joke about, all this man is doing is playing video games, and yet he's more successful than you. However, I will admit Mark mentioned something in that same livestream that caught me off guard a little bit, and I had a hard time agreeing with initially. He had this to say about YouTubers breaking into mainstream media.
These are the kind of things that I want to break into. These are why. Is because, number one, I firmly believe that YouTubers as creators and internet content creators in general are more creative than anyone ever gives them credit for. The amount of work that people put in and the individual skills that you build in terms of being able to do individual creativity is so underestimated by the greater community in terms of like Hollywood and traditional media, stuff like that. They have no idea. And I definitely want to be one of the people that proves all of them wrong, even if I have to grab them by their scrawny little necks.
I find that statement a bit hard to agree with. The instances I know of YouTubers trying to break into mainstream media did not go very well. The first place my mind went to was the Lily Singh talk show, and to be frank, it was not critically received well. So does that mean it's a two-way street? That sure, talk show hosts can't do YouTube very well, but YouTubers can't do talk shows very well? You could say that, but my answer is a little bit outside the box. I propose that traditional talk shows are boring and outdated. You want to see celebrities interacting with hosts? Good Mythical Morning. You know what Post Malone does every morning after he wakes up? Watches Good Mythical Morning. Mega chat stuff right there.
Post Malone, and as I understand it, he's such a big Rhett and Link fan.
When he said, I watch the show every day, and I've been doing that for like 4 years, really. Post Malone is watching our show?
And maybe it's just me, but I have a lot more fun seeing people do things than say things. And that still applies to the Distractable podcast. Because in that format, they're competing. To elaborate more, because there's such a chokehold in the entertainment industry, especially the talk show industry, that whenever someone new on the block, especially someone not from traditional media, tries to start their own talk show, they're essentially shamed out of existence. But does that mean YouTubers are destined to stay in the YouTube bubble? That no matter how hard they try, they are always going to be considered a YouTuber? No. Because someone who was extremely in the YouTube bubble is now an extremely successful music artist, entirely unrelated to their old YouTube content. I'm of course talking about Joji, formerly known as Filthy Frank. You want an idea of how deep in the YouTube hole he was? I literally don't think I can show any footage from that channel without my channel being taken down. Not a strike, taken down. Now, I know I got a few requests to talk about Filthy Frank, but in my opinion, there's already a video out there that does it a million times better than I ever could. How Joji Escaped from Filthy Frank by Patrick CC. Too long, didn't watch. Filthy Frank slowly introduced the concept of him making music. It started with joke songs, then a few random short ballads, then Pink Eye, and now Joji. Essentially, he slowly conditioned his audience to get used to the idea of him making music. And now, what is Markiplier doing? High production YouTube originals, podcasts, and now a TV show and a documentary about his mom escaping North Korea. Entirely unrelated to him. By the way, thank you so much to the people who pre-purchased the documentary. You are the real heroes. Now, I don't think Mark is going to leave YouTube like Joji did. At least not anytime soon. But he's making it pretty clear that he's trying to break into the mainstream world, mainly out of spite. And I have a feeling he's not only trying to break in, but also pave a road. Now the next step in his mainstream journey is to beat Black China and OnlyFans sales. You know, I'm only paying for it because, you know, it go towards charity and, you know, it's for the meme, it's a joke, and yeah. Okay, bye. Hey guys, just by the way, I plan on updating my set, so if there is a bit of a bigger break in between my videos, that's why. Okay, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow my socials. I think down there. I think. I might be completely wrong.